a few points here for you, but the first one is just controlling what you can control. I kind of talk about it in there, but there's so much on the water that we have no control over whatsoever, whether that be angling pressure, weather, mood of the fish, what they've seen that day, what's underneath, like all of these things. You can't control any of that, right? And we want to do the things that we can, find out what bugs are in the river, pick up a rock and look at some of them, do those things. But at the end of the day, you're not going to control every single fish in that river. And I've even seen it sometimes where, one fish is feeding on something 50 yards up, but the fish that's, 50 yards behind that is just keying in on something totally different. So I think sitting there, changing flies over and over and over again, it can only make things harder for you. And there's a time and a place for that, but I think once you've had a little bit of success with a fly in a day, sometimes you just got to stick to it. And even if you're sight fishing and you're casting and you know that you're getting a good drift to a certain fish, maybe that fish just is out of the moment. Just move on. I think for me, I've kind of set the standard for myself that 3 casts is kind of what I'm looking for. And that means 3 good casts, right? If I have a sloppy, lazy cast and it goes, not quite to a pocket or something, I'm not going to count that one. But I want 3 good casts in a certain spots, and after that, I'm going to move on. Even if it's a prime hole and I think it's just filled with trout, then maybe my weakness will get a better of me, and I'll 5 or 6 casts in there. But I try my hardest to stay as disciplined as I can to getting 3 to 5 casts in a certain spot, and then moving on. Once you feel good that any trout in that hole has seen those flies and maybe seen them a couple of times, you know it's either time to clip the fly or move on. And in many cases, I think moving on can just be better for you. So don't get stuck in a spot. Control what you can and just pick those feet up and move a little bit.